I'm just playing. Hello, que mi gente, what's up everybody? So today's video we're gonna be talking about Cancun, Mexico. I'm about to take this hat off because I cannot take myself serious with this. Give me 1 second. So yes, I'm gonna be covering the things I like, the things I dislike, and just overall my opinion about Cancun, Mexico. Typical J-Rod fashion, I always keep it real on this channel, so if you're somebody who's highly sensitive, then time to exit stage left. Alright, with that being said and done, let's get started. So Mexico, believe it or not, I'm no stranger to Mexico. I've already previously been, I think I explained this in one of my videos, that Mexico is actually one of the first, matter of fact, the first Spanish-speaking country I ever visited once I started beginning doing this like international travel thing. So Mexico, I already kind of have a history with it, and I know Cancun is a very popular destination, so it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you guys have already visited, but I did decide to go for the weekend, and let me tell you, it was lit. I had the time of my life, but I'm just gonna kind of give you a breakdown of everything. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about something new on my channel, so we're just gonna get right into this video. All right, I got my notes on my computer. All right, so first category, beauty and architecture. So Cancun, it definitely gives you a tropical vibe, okay? Sandy white beaches, blue water, palm trees. It kind of gives me the idea of like a Florida. I wouldn't quite say like Miami. I think Miami is a little bit too metropolitan, but kind of like a, I don't know, like a Tampa or a Destin or a Panama City Beach, Florida type vibe. Like just kind of like the West Coast of Florida. So if you ever been on the West Coast of Florida, it gives me West Coast Florida vibes. But yeah, it definitely does look tropical. Some people say Cancun looks ran down. I don't personally think that. I think it looks pretty fine, at least in the tourist zones that I've been to. So yeah, overall, I think it looks pretty decent. The streets are pretty nice. Like I didn't feel like the streets have potholes or anything. So yeah, Cancun, it looks beautiful to me. I don't have an issue with it. Oh, one quick thing I forgot to mention. Kind of when you get to the hotel area where the strip is and like the clubs, it kind of looks like Las Vegas. That's just like a little side observation, but I was kind of walking through, I was like, man, this kind of looks like Vegas. All right, next category, the people, la gente. So Cancun is filled with American people, tons and tons and tons of American tourists. And y'all know how I feel about Americans when I travel. I tell y'all normally I don't really care to be around American tourists, but for some reason in Cancun, I don't feel that way. Like I actually don't mind it. And that's simply because Mexico is our neighboring country. So it didn't really surprise me to see a lot of Americans in Cancun. That didn't really bother me, but for people who are concerned about traveling and are you gonna stand out or whatever, bro, it's tons of Americans out here. So, I mean, you're gonna fit in. And in terms of the Mexicans were really nice. I didn't have an issue with them. You know, a lot of them speak English in Cancun, and I even asked some of the taxi drivers like, yo, how you learn English? And you know, they just said from a lot of drunk people coming down there for spring break, so they just speak to the people all the time. So if you were somebody that's like concerned about like, are you gonna stand out or is it gonna be like weird? I think the only time where I feel like I stand out was like when I got out of the hotel zone area. I felt like, okay, maybe it's not a lot of people that look like me, but like once you in that little strip where all the tourist stuff is, like, bro, there's tons of foreigners there. Nightlife. Oh boy, I had to take a sip for that one. All right, nightlife. The nightlife is off the chain in Cancun, bro. Like seriously, if you are trying to find a party place or a place to turn up, Cancun is like party central at nighttime, man. And like I told you before, I don't really care to be around Americans when I travel, but the nightlife in Cancun, and this is without sounding cocky, bro, but Americans dominate the night scene in Cancun, bro. Like all the clubs and stuff, it was just straight up catered to American people, like the music, just like the people in the clubs, like Americans dominate that area. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a little bit too much at times, if you ask me. Like I have like this weird, crazy story time. I know YouTube, they'll demonetize this video if I go into detail, but basically, it was a little sketchy situation. It was like involving a strip club and some Mexican strippers, okay? A very weird situation like that kind of happened. And I was just like, damn, like y'all really get down like that in Cancun. Like, I was kind of shocked. I was like, shit, like how is this even, bro, like this definitely would not fly in the United States for sure. For sure, like absolutely no way this stuff that was happening when I was down there. I was just like, goodness gracious. Yeah, it was a very like sketchy, weird situation, but needless to say, the nightlife is pretty damn amazing. I think the nightlife is cool. Mexico has the best food in Latin America. Nothing else up for discussion. It is. I would say Brazil's like a close second, but the food in Mexico, the thing that sets Mexico apart from all the other Latin American countries is the variety of food that they have. And this is somebody who done travel all through Latin America. And one thing I'll say about Mexico that I appreciate is the variety, bro. Like, pretty much every single thing I had there in the times that I have been to Mexico, the food has always been on point. Like, the food in Mexico, bro, is like pretty damn good, okay? So I don't really have nothing negative to say about that. So the money in Mexico, they use US dollars and pesos. So that is an advantage that you have over there, is that you can actually use US dollars in Cancun. I think I did a little bit of both, and I was also using my my credit card or my debit card. So yeah, you can go to the ATM and you can pull out pesos or you can pull out dollars. I like that money is see-through. That's kind of dope. But anyways, yeah, so the money system, yeah, you can go to the ATMs and you can withdraw both currencies. Like, I did notice sometimes when I paid in dollars, things was a little bit cheaper versus when I paid in pesos. Like, for an example, I paid a taxi in pesos one time. I think that was equivalent like $50, and then I paid in dollars one time, and I think I only paid $40. So sometimes it is a little bit cheaper when you pay in US currency because it's worth a little bit more. But like for certain places, you know, you do want to have peso. Mexico was fairly cheap, or, you know, reasonably priced. I think the most expensive thing I probably ever paid for was the taxis. The taxis was really expensive. And speaking of taxis, that leads me to my next point, navigation. So one thing I did not like about Cancun was navigating the city. Now, I stayed in a hotel that was kind of off-site from all the action, so, you know, 15, 20 minutes out. And bro, one taxi for like 15 to 20 minutes, bro, $50, okay? I think it was like $50 if you paid in pesos, and I think it was like $40 if you paid in USD. Bro, the taxis are just expensive. I would not recommend you staying off site. Like, you definitely want to stay where all the action is, where you can just walk around. They do have Uber in Mexico, but it is very, very tricky to use. It's very hard to use Mexico and Cancun, and let me tell you why. Uber technically is not licensed in Mexico. They've been having real big issues with the taxi union and the Uber drivers. The taxis, they believe that Uber is taking their business away, so that is why a lot of places, like when you try to use the Uber app in Cancun, it's not gonna work. It's gonna say unavailable because the taxis, you know, they just feel like they've been getting like blown out of business. And that's the truth, because as a traveler, it's like, why pay $40 for a taxi when I can pay $7 for an Uber ride? So it's been kind of like this ongoing battle. And that's why, like, when you do finally get an Uber, they tell you to sit in the front seat, because there are a lot of security checkpoints throughout Cancun. So that's another thing you're gonna notice when you're on the street. Is gonna be tons of police stops. And if they see you sitting in the back seat and they notice that they're using Uber, the driver will actually get fined. So that's why when you're trying to get an Uber in Mexico, it's really difficult. And also, like, even getting dropped off at the airport, I took an Uber to the airport, and my driver was telling me, he was like, bro, like, just as soon as we get to the airport, you gotta get out real fast, because the taxi drivers get pissed off. They'll get very angry to see that people are taking their business. If you do actually get access to an Uber, the wait time to get an Uber is usually like around 15 minutes on average. I think the longest I waited for an Uber was probably like 25 minutes, bro. The cars are very limited in Uber, so that's why it takes a long time to get one. Another thing, it's actually easier to take an Uber to the hotel zone area, but when you're leaving, trying to come back, that's the tricky part. So like what my driver was telling me is that you can take the city bus, which is like $1, and you could take that downtown, like just get outside the hotel zone area. Because if you try to use Uber in the hotel zone area, it's not gonna work. It's gonna say unavailable or cars not available or something like that. But what you do is, yeah, you take you a city bus, or you can walk, and you get like outside of the hotel zone area, then you call an Uber. But once again, you probably gonna have to wait a long time to get a car, but that's just a cheaper way to get back home instead of paying, you know, $50, $40 for a taxi. So yeah, using Uber in Cancun is very hard. It does work, it's just very difficult. Safety, is Cancun safe? Now this one is pretty much up for debate, all right? This is why I tell people, things are bound to happen no matter where you go, okay? Anything can go down, no matter what city, how safe a country is, anything can go down. What I will say though is, on the internet, a lot of people confuse tourist friendly as being safe. Something being tourist friendly does not necessarily equate to being safe. So that's one thing that you do need to keep in mind. Like when you see stuff that says, oh, it's a tourist friendly destination, that just means that things in that city are more user friendly towards tourists. The real big thing in Cancun currently right now is just the cartel. There were like some little things going on with the cartel and like certain activities that I wanted to do. They were either recommending me not to do it, or they just straight up said like we're not doing it because of all like the stuff that's going on. You know, like for example, the jet skis, you know, the cartel, they'll pull up and firing rounds and stuff. Like, you know, this stuff does happen. Okay, like even coming onto the resorts, like I know there are a couple of resorts that went into lockdown, and this was like a few months ago because it was some shooting and stuff on the beach. So stuff does happen like that. I mean, that's the reality of traveling, and you just gotta be prepared for things like that. Like I said, as long as you're vigilant and you staying on your A game, you just being aware of like your surroundings and the things that are going on, then I'm not gonna say like you wouldn't have nothing to worry about, but you can definitely be more prepared. Now, when I was in Mexico, I had no issues walking around at nighttime, camera out. I didn't have any problems. You know, even during the day, like I was walking down the side of the highway, 3 miles down the highway, just walking with my book bag, got my camera out, went to a 7-Eleven, got some snacks, like nothing happened to me. And I'm not saying that just because something didn't happen doesn't mean that it can't be dangerous, but I'm just letting you know, like when I was there, I didn't have no issues with like anything. The only sketchy situation I would say when I was there was like involving that little strip club. Like that shit was crazy, that whole little situation. Other than that, like I ain't had no issues in Cancun. And it's police everywhere, so if something were to go down, bro, it's police like every couple of blocks. Last but not least, the activities. Tons and tons and tons of excursions and activities. You're never gonna get bored in Cancun. Because there's just so much stuff to do, like more activities I can count. Private island tours, you're gonna do catamarans, boat tours. Isla Mujeres, that's another place you gotta hit up. They got zip lining, they got trips like out the city, bro. Like it's just tons of stuff. So once again, like I told you in the beginning of this video, it is like the Punta Cana of Mexico, okay? It's just tons of things to do, so you will not get bored in Cancun. Four-wheeling, ATVs, all that, okay? They have everything. Overall, I'll give it an 8.5 on a scale of 10. I think this is an easy travel destination if you're somebody who first time traveling out the country. If you got any questions about Mexico or any of the places that I visited, you already know how to reach me. I'll leave my Instagram, my email down below. Guys, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching. All right, hasta luego.